Ask all questions. Let's go for it. Hope everyone's having a good day. Hope everyone's training hard. I had a rest day today because I had a competition on Saturday. Weightlifting, 115 clean and jerk, and 92 snatch. So we're getting there, slowly making my weaknesses strengths, which is all we can do. I'm just going to put a timer on. So we're going to do 25 minutes today. So if you've got any questions, go for it. How long can you expect between PJFT and CPC? I think some of our guys do it. It's like taking 8 weeks. It can vary depending on like intake and stuff. But yeah, it's looking roughly 8 weeks, maybe a tad bit longer. So for those of you guys who are sort of like contemplating regarding like putting your application in because you don't feel like you're ready, from the moment you start your application to the moment you actually get to say the PJFT, that can take at least 6 months. Some a lot more, some slightly quicker. So yeah, start getting your application in today, guys, if you're contemplating it. Any exercise to help forearm burn when rope climbing? So a really good one I like to do is I take my towel to the gym, something I used to do when I was doing a lot of judo, and chuck this towel over the pull-up bar and do your pull-ups on a towel. That's a really, really good one. Even just holding on, like how long can you dead hang on a towel? And that's going to massively help forearm strength. Another one I like to do is sort of get 2 heavy kettlebells, and you can either just stand there gripping them for as long as possible, or even make a little bit of a route. So we would do like a 350 meter route around our gym with like 20 kilo dumbbells and build up to 24 kilo, try not to drop it. And your forearms just get so strong from that. So try them, mate. Obviously rope climbs as well will help. How much longer is officer training? 52 weeks officer training. So Commando training for junior ranks is 36 weeks now. That includes a 4-week ROP period, which is like a four-week integration period. Do you think being in the Army Cadets will help training at any point? 100%, mate. Listen, like guys who have been in the cadets or similar have got you've got a great advantage because you've probably been on an SAAT. You've probably know some sort of basics on map reading at least. You know about military bearing. You know about sorting your kit out. You know about deservicing your kit. Like these things are really good. I remember being sort of like 15 and looking at the cadets going like, we always thought it was a bit wimpy or a bit lame or whatever. Whereas now I think I wish I could go back and be in the cadets. It would square you away so much for getting into training. Ideas to sort shin splints out. Yes, if you go on our YouTube channel, there's a 1-minute video that we say to try and do every day. It just strengthens like the anterior tib and stuff like that. So your lower limb strength is basically a lack of strength in your lower limbs. So a lot of people we get come through who sort of like go, right, that's it, I'm training for the Royal Marines, haven't really ran before, and they start trying to do 6 milers in the first week, and their body's simply not ready. So making sure that you gradually build your running distance and pace up, and obviously doing that sort of strengthening exercise for your lower limbs. But yeah, if you go through, it's if you can't find it on the YouTube channel, just DM me on Instagram and I'll send over the link. But that will really help to do that daily. Would having a stronger back help with doing rope climbs and yomping? Yeah, definitely, because obviously rope climbs, we're looking at that. It's a pull movement, and we know that your back predominantly is used for pulling movements, and obviously yomping speaks for itself. Being able to stabilize yourself whilst having a 100-pound plus burden on your back, really important to have a nice solid lower back, strong glutes, strong quads, strong hamstrings. Absolutely vital, guys. If you need any help with that, don't be afraid to message on Instagram as well. Do I need to be a natural leader to succeed in officer training? I'm obviously not an officer, so I can't speak firsthand. However, I think that if they see the potential in you, then they build that leadership in you. That year at Lympstone as going through your officer training, obviously, once you pass out as well, you're under probation, you're getting help as well for the first few years. They will grow that leadership in you. Obviously, you've got to have some sort of leadership beforehand. However, you don't have to be the finished article before applying. So as long as you're prepared to work hard at it, step out of your comfort zones and step into that leadership, then I don't see why that can't be achieved. What's the relationship between blokes and officers? Again, it depends on obviously the officer. Some officers are a bit stand-backy. Some are very much at the forefront of it and jump in with your fears and a bit of banter and that. Best officer I ever worked with was out in Afghanistan. He was brand new out of training and he was a brilliant officer. And the thing I liked most about him was his humility. Like, he would give us the plan of what we were doing. Then he'd say, right, lads, has anyone got anything they think we could do better? If we genuinely had a better plan, then he would go, yeah, Roger, let's implement that and we'll do that. So he wasn't afraid to change his plans if guys had better plans, but also very much was the leader, didn't take any nonsense, and also was fit as a fiddle. And for me, I think that gains a massive respect. So I think like some of the best officers I've had are ones where they come in, you know, they show obviously that they are in charge, but they're not trying to like, I guess the old saying is respect is earned, not given. And obviously in the Marines, it is given to a certain amount of a certain degree. However, it's earned by the lads will suss you out for the first few months. And if they see that your drills are really good, you're squared away, you're digging out blind, you're training good, you're a switched on bloke, then those things are going to make lads like look up to you and have more respect. So, but you are very much detached from the average, the normal lads, like the junior ranks. Does getting back squatted or back trooped make you fitter than originally continuing? I wouldn't say it makes you fitter. It might help you if you've got some weaknesses that you need to work on. What it might do going forward is you'll know more lads. So think of it as a positive. Turn every bad situation into a positive. So say if you get back trooped and then you go into hunter, say for a couple of months because of injury or whatever, and then go back into your new troop. Not only do you know your original troop, you know everyone in hunter, and then you know everyone in your new troop. So when you go to a unit or whatever, you might know 200 lads, whereas the lads who pass out as originals might know 12 lads, you know. So always think of the positives you can take out of it. Yeah, like that's going to and when you go into hunter or you get back trooped, just go, right, this is a really good opportunity for me to work on my weaknesses. So it can make you mentally tougher going forward as well. If I have grades for officer selection, do you recommend I go for it? 100%. I always think go to as your full potential. You know, otherwise you'll always end up wondering, what if I could have made it? And ultimately, if you don't get through officer selection, then you can go in through the junior ranks and maybe build up after a few years and go into officer again whilst you're a Royal Marine. So yeah, go for it, mate. If that's an aspiration you have, try it. Do you think it's harder training for reserves because you're not there 24/7, or does it balance out? I think it's harder in some aspects, as you're focused a lot on your uni or on your day job, and then you've got to try and get your fizz in as well. That's quite hard to do. However, I would say that full-time training is harder just because of the intensity. You're under the microscope. You're at Lympstone for minimum 9 months now, and it's that scrutiny and that constant pressure that makes it so tough. So both hard in their own ways, but I would say, I mean, I went through as a regular, so I went through Lympstone, and that was really tough. But I can see why it's tough for reserves as well. I've got push-ups, planks, sit-ups, and other exercises down, but for some reason I can't get pull-ups. How can I improve this? I've actually got two videos on the YouTube channel that will improve your pull-ups, and also one of them, the latest one I did, comes with a free 4-week program. So start there, and then if you need any extra work, then just message me. But yeah, there's a free program and 2 videos right there for you if you scroll through our YouTube channel. Is it worth cutting back on the heavy weight lifting in the gym and focus on body weight exercise, or a combination of both? I would say initially for PJFT stuff, really work on your body weight work, because obviously that's the test you're getting tested for. But prior to joining training, if I did it again, I would focus on squats, to build a strong core, strong legs, which is really important for yomping, bottom field, etc. But I would only ever recommend this if you do it with correct, good form. So yeah, but back off your body weight style training. Really start working on your body weight work. Your running intervals, from 200 meters to 5K, sort of that sort of distance to start with, and then just start gradually building it as well. Glid Gaming, legend. If anyone doesn't follow Glid Gaming, make sure you do. He's a Royal Marines Commando, good friend of mine. He's got the best gaming channel on YouTube. And everything they do on that channel is correct drills, correct comms. You'll actually learn a lot from it. And I'm not a gamer at all, but I watch that stuff because it's really interesting. And he's built a good community of military lads on there. So make sure you drop them a follow. Drop your community post on the channel for UK-based guys to help you get more eyes on. Nice one, Sam. Great content. And I second everything you say. Well done, mate. Appreciate that, bro. Obviously, lots of experience behind Glid as well. Really good guy. And like I say, check out his channel, guys. Looking to join the reserves, however, due to work, I won't be able to go away for 9 months. I think it's changing in the new year. Should I apply now, or would it be better to wait until then? I would apply now because in April it changes. So by the time you get there, you'll be able to do the part-time training. So yeah, start applying now, mate. Start getting fit now, and eyes on the prize. Do you think being in the Army Reserves for a year would give you some advantage compared to joining as your first military experience? I would say you don't need to. I'd say if you're already in, great, but I wouldn't join the Army Reserves first to then transfer over to the Royal Marines. You can if this year is a bit of a write-off and you want to do that, but I wouldn't do it purposely to join the Royal Marines, because the Army and the Royal Marines do things very differently. We have very different drills. Mindset's quite different, and the way we sort of operate is different. So what you might tend to do is pick up some bad habits that then will have to be sort of changed through Royal Marines training. I say bad habits, different habits and bad habits. So it's not necessarily going to be massively beneficial from that regard. Do you need to be a specific body type to pass Royal Marines training? I'm 5'10", 135 pounds. Skinny but lean. I'd say, well, I'm 5'8", so I'm a midget, but I joined 70 kilos because I was boxing a lot, and then within 3 months I was 81 kilos, and then I maintained 81 kilos for the majority of my career, up to this day actually. So I would say you are very, very light, and that's going to cause problems when you're yomping and carrying your oppos, bottom field stuff. So I'd get loads of weight on you, but obviously the correct weight. You don't want to be putting loads of fat on. So if you need help with like increasing your weight, then just message me on Instagram, mate, and I can help. Guys, we obviously have our paid programs and nutrition support and stuff, but I will never turn someone away from free advice. Like, ultimately I want to see you guys smash it and become elite soldiers. So things like that, I'm more than happy to give free advice for and stuff. For me, it's not just about like, I want to make money off people. I don't care. It's about helping you guys. You're keen. You're obviously on a Royal Marines Q&A, so you're keen guys looking to better yourselves and push. And I just want to support that. So yeah, if you need any free advice, just message me on Instagram. Do you think you should focus more on cardio or weight exercises? Well, cardio is aerobic capacity is the number one thing for Royal Marines Commandos. If you're not massively strong, but you're very cardio aerobically fit, you're gonna go relatively far. If you've got no aerobic capacity but you're really strong, you're gonna go nowhere. So that should answer it. You want to be strong, guys, but you want to be super fit. You want to be a racing snake pretty much going forward. So running intervals, can't stress enough how important they are. And then on top of that, good solid aerobic capacity, then we build our strength work as well. Should I join the Marines right after A-levels? If you feel like you're mature enough. So I was 19 when I joined. That was probably just right. I think maybe I had a lot of maturing to do whilst I was in training. If I joined at say 16, I wouldn't have been mature enough. So you've got to have that real long, hard decision and conversation with yourself. Are you mature enough to join the hardest basic training and longest basic training in the world? And only you can answer that question. But if it's something you really desire to do and you're working hard to achieve it even now, go for it. Bad habits, Roger. Yeah, pretty much. Any tips for wrist injuries? I sprained mine doing press-ups. Okay, so I say to guys that doing press-ups on your knuckles is a really good way of strengthening your wrists and also protecting them. Because if you're not used to press-ups and then you go and bang out like 300 a week, then you know it can mess you up. So start doing some on your knuckles and see that should improve your wrist strength. How long do you, but if it's sprained, then you need to rest it first before you start doing that. How long do medicals take altogether? It's taken a long time. Depends how many snags you've got. If you're a perfect human being, it shouldn't be too long. If you've got every ailment under the sun and you've broken your hip 3 times and that, then it's going to take a lot longer. However, between us, Capta, who do the medicals for the Royal Marines, are turbo crap, the turbo gash. So it might take longer than normal. How many blokes usually do late entry to become officers per year? Good question. Not sure. I would say this is me completely guessing as a, just remembering YO batches. I would say probably no more than 6 a year who are already Royal Marines. And I think that's quite a high number. I would say maybe 3 or 4 a year, potentially. Again, I don't have the, correct stats there. That's just me if I had to give it a guess. Have you met many people who joined late 20s rather than just after teens? Yeah, man, loads. And the reason it's open to 32 years old is because you can join up to 32. So don't get put off by that. If you think that, say if you joined hypothetically at 30 years old and you did 18 years and got your full pension, you'd be 48 when you leave and you'd have a full pension under your belt and an 18-year career as a Royal Marines Commando. You could then go and do a full 2nd or 3rd career by then. So look, if you're fit and you're 29, 30, 31, 32, and you want to be a Royal Marine, freaking go for it, lads. I'm quite a skinny lad joining at 16. Any tips for bulking and getting bigger arms and stronger legs? Calorie surplus and weight training. So if you've got a pen to hand, then write this down. You basically want to get your body weight in pounds and times that, if depending on how active you are. If you're really active, you want to times that by 17. So say I'm 130 pounds, I times that by 17. 130 times 17 equals 2,210 calories a day, and that's minimum. So if you're not gaining weight at those calories, then pick it up. If you're not very active, you can times your body weight by 15. And again, after a couple of weeks, if you're not gaining weight, then just add 100 calories on for the next every day for the next 7 days. And again, if you're not gaining weight, then just keep adding it. Make sure, if I find a lot of the times with working with a lot of clients, those that say they can't put on weight are normally the ones who, when they're stressed or busy, they forget to eat. So if you need to set alarm clocks to remind you to eat, then do it. All right. I don't know. Personally, I'm a fat boy at heart. I don't know how anyone forgets to eat. I don't think I've ever forgotten to eat in my life. But I am a little fat boy at heart. If I didn't train twice a day, I'd be an absolute mess. But yeah, in order to get bigger and stronger, calorie surplus and weight training. Compound lifts are massive. Do Marines have dog handling? You've got the military police, so you'd have to join the military police. It's a really good question. I'm going to say you can do it from being a Royal Marine. You'd obviously have to join the police service. I don't know. Do you know what? I don't know, mate. I'm not going to lie. I don't know. Can you be a dog handler in the Marines? I'm going to say no, but I'm sure you could find a way to do it. Ring your AFCO. They'll know. They'll know everything like that. Good question. I'm going to just write that down quick. Add that to my knowledge because I don't actually know that. Big questions, but I'm from Northern Ireland and wanting to know if there's any tensions or hatred within the Marines. That's my main concern. Not from our side as you know, English, Scots and Welsh. Maybe from your side, there'll be people obviously in Northern Ireland who won't like you joining, and you might just need to be aware of that and obviously keep it on the D-low. But coming to us, no hatred whatsoever. You won't find any hatred in the Marines for that. I think I'm like half Northern Irish as well. My dad's Irish, so yeah, man. But we had a couple of Northern Irish lads, good lads, and yeah, fit in. Once you join the Royal Marines and you got that cap badge, we're all the same nationality, lads. Can you join a trade in the Royal Marines after your GD period? Is it worth it? Yes, and yes. Most people will get a trade. So, but yeah, 100%. Make yourself as employable as possible. Sorry. What has happened there? Yeah, make yourself as employable as possible with a trade. Think about your career after the Royal Marines as well. Since single piece of advice you'd give to yourself as you were preparing to join, getting as fit as possible is going to make training easier, I would say. Get used to being outside. I'd say that's probably a hard one to nail down, but I would say that would, right now as I think about it, get used to being outside in the elements. That's going to be one of the hardest things for you guys. It doesn't matter how fit you are. If you're a wimp with the weather, so you're in trouble. So I was a wimp when I joined. So yeah, get used to being outside in all conditions. Also, when you're in, is it hard to get into ASG? It depends. It depends how full they are. But no, I know quite a lot of lads who went in relatively new out of the box. But again, it depends on their numbers. But it's doable within a few years. Got my CPC next. Would you recommend hill sprints? Definitely. Yep, you're going to get beasted on your CPC. So anything like that, anything outside in the elements, great. Hill sprints are brilliant. Do you regret anything about joining? No, I don't. Are officers ever back troops put in Hunter, or do they have to wait 6 months for the next intake? Good question. One I don't know the answer to. I think within reason, but if it's a serious injury and you lose a lot of training, then you will have to wait till the next batch comes through. But let me find that out. If you message me on Instagram, I will give you the correct info because I will ask someone who was an officer. I don't want to sit here and chat crap about things I don't know about. That is not my style. Just did calorie calculator for myself, 3,000 plus. That sounds expensive on a student budget. Yeah, well, you're going to just have to look for ways of doing it, man. There's always cheaper options. Pasta can become your good friend. Tuna, buy in bulk. Tricky. It's tricky. But in order to gain that weight, that's what you need to do. Any thoughts on what good weekly mileage would be whilst training? Again, gradually build up. People are surprised when I say don't do tons and tons of miles. When you first join, that first sort of 13 weeks, you're not going to be doing like 6 mile runs and that. You might do the odd 6 miles back from Woodbury, but a lot of it's sprints and camp circuits, 800-meter sprints. You round the gym phase, you know, doing 50-meter sprints here and there, touch the wall, touch all 4 walls of the gymnasium, back to me, let's go. You're not going to be just running in. Very rarely in Royal Marines training will you just have no kit on and run for miles and miles. It will either be long distances with lots of kit or short, snappy, 800-meter runs. I'm going to whiz through these because I said it would be 25 minutes. So no more messages, guys. Sorry from this last one. Apologies. We'll do another live like next week. What best defines Royal Marines aside from fitness? Attention to detail and solid drills, I would say. Just doing everything perfectly. How important is learning Royal Marines history and information before joining? Really important, because you want to know what organisation you're joining. You want to know their history like you would be if you were joining a business. And also, ultimately, it's a brotherhood. So you want to go in knowing what you're going into. It's so important from a respect point of view as well, to see what, people have given the ultimate sacrifice in the past, have given their lives for. So it's important that you know that. Is CPC same as PRMC? It's 3 days pretty much at Lympstone. Yes, sort of similar sort of thing. Run slightly differently, but yeah, comes with the same outcome pretty much. Did you know any lads who went in without training beforehand and still passed? No, absolutely not. You have to. It's the hardest, longest basic training in the world. You need to go in with a good level of fitness. Do you think playing rugby would help with cardio and strength? Definitely, and also being outside in the elements. When it's freezing and you're still playing, and putting your head in places that shouldn't go with big tackles and stuff. Really good way of building resilience. What's the camaraderie like between Marines? Do you meet some a-holes and meet some who would die for you? That you would die for. 100% many lads that you would put your life on the line for. There's always one or two knobs knocking about, like there would be anywhere. But when I think of my career, one face comes to mind, and that was just a clash of personalities. But no, majority of lads are really good lads. Most knobheads get thrown out during training. Which abroad country was your favourite to visit while in the Marines, and why? I always loved the US. It's just my favourite country anyway. I love the positivity, the chadness of them. I love that everything they do it big. They look after their military as well, and when you go to their shops on their bases, it's like tax-free, and you get ridiculous discounts. Like, for instance, I went out to California and got 4 pairs of Ray-Bans for like 130 quid. And, you go to our shops on our bases, our naffies, and it's like freaking Mars bars, like 2 quid. So they look after their guys, and I love that. Got CPC tomorrow? Quick run now or not? No, just chill, mate. Maybe go for a walk if you're getting a bit twitchy, but save your energy. That run's not going to do anything. You're not going to get any fitter off that run. So just rest, stretch off, and go for a walk or whatever. Get a good night, early night, loads of food in today. Is there any work experience qualifications I could get while in college that would look good on an application for the Marines? Any voluntary work is always great. Anything active is great as well. Anything where you deem to be helping people and making a difference is brilliant, mate. So things like helping at a kids club, or helping at a sports club, things like that are great. Something that gets you out and also makes a difference. Is the 1.5 miler coming back to Europe? Not sure if they test it as a official test, but they might throw it in there. So make sure that you're ready for it, and you'll definitely do one during training as well, I imagine. I'm 5'7", 65 kilo. What weight would you say is best for me to get in before I go training? I was 70 kilos and I was about 5'8", and I was too small. So let that be an answer. Make sure you're not absolutely ripped. If you're like 10 packed up or you're really chubby, both are too far gone. So you need to, if you're too fat, you need to drop in so that you can see some of your abs, like 4 abs. If you've got an 8-pack, you're probably a bit too low in body fat percentage. So it's very hard to just say you should be this way because everyone's different. So again, if you DM me on Instagram, I'll be able to give you a better idea of that. Do you think boxing and jiu-jitsu will help fitness? Yes, definitely. Do you think having hay fever would affect joining? Potentially. Something you need to check how serious it is, and also it might crap you up while you're in the field. So definitely something to talk to the AFCO about. Just started Thai boxing, trying to incorporate without getting injured to the point of preventing training. But would you recommend for? Yeah, it's great. I love all sort of martial arts. Any sort of fighting is great, and obviously it might save your life one day. Can you join the Marines if you have Raynaud's? I don't think so. I've probably got Raynaud's now from cold weather injuries. If it's on your medical record, I'd say probably not. But again, that's just me. I don't actually know. And like I say, I'm not like part of the medical team with the Royal Marines or nothing like that. So ring your AFCO and find out that way, mate. What actual roles can you join in the Marines? I want to join, but not sure what I want to do. Go on the Royal Marines website, have a look through the roles, and then I want you to message me on Instagram at Complete Commando and tell me what roles they do. So that's your homework, all right? It can sometimes be too easy to just sit on here and go, I'm not going to do any research. You tell me what roles they do. You go and do it, all right? That's your homework. Complete Commando on Instagram. Guys, nice one. That's 30 minutes there. We'll do another one next week. Hope you got loads of info out of that. Again, message me on Instagram at Complete Commando. I'll put it here.